Hello everyone and welcome to Drive-By Mapping. Today I am making my 2022 governor prediction, so I have not posted in a while. I'll probably make a video soon regarding the accuracy of my 2021 predictions, which I did not post here, but I did post them on my Twitter. So we're gonna start this map right here. So Youngkin won as I expected, Murphy won as I expected, although it was a lot closer than many people thought. These states are all safe for the Republican, including Texas. I do think that will be safe for the Republican. Iowa, I do think so as well. Ohio, New Hampshire, because Sununu's running. Vermont likely are. Probably, I don't know. Something might happen with Scott regarding Trump having a primary challenger to Phil Scott, potentially making the race vote blue, but we're going to have to wait and see. So, for the Democrats, California, Hawaii, not Colorado actually, New York, that's it. So yeah, Alaska is also safe Republican. So let's go from Washington to East Coast. Oregon, that is likely Democrat. They do have closer governor elections for the governors, but I do think that the Democrats are going to win, and we'll see if they could. I don't know, Republicans might be able to run a good candidate in Oregon, but I don't think they really have a shot in Oregon. So, the next one's in Nevada. Lean Republican Lombardo is a good candidate. I do think Lombardo is going to win by a lean margin in Nevada. Sisolak went very hard on the lockdowns. The lockdowns are very unpopular in areas like Las Vegas, areas like Reno, certain areas, certain suburbs too. Obviously, I mean, and it really seems that these people, they are not super happy, and their approval rating has gone down quite a bit. So I do think that Lombardo is going to be able to beat Sisolak by a couple of points. Lake is going to win by a lean margin in Arizona. I don't really see this race being super competitive. Democrats don't really have a good candidate right now. We'll see if they can maybe run a blue dog, get it a little closer, but I do think that Lake is going to be able to polarize the race, so a blue dog really won't affect it too much. But Democrat, but Lake, I mean, she is pretty far right, but I mean, a far right did outperform Trump by a couple of points. In California, Larry Elder did outperform Trump by like 5 when, like, they sent out like a bunch of mail-in ballots too. So Trump outperformed, or Elder outperformed Trump by 5 in California. There's no reason Lake can't outperform Trump by 0.3. Trump lost Arizona by 0.3. There's no reason Lake is not going to be able to run, is not going to be able to outperform Trump by that much. And the state really is not even turning blue that fast. So, Colorado, Polis is pretty popular. I do think that he will win by a likely margin. I don't really see that really competitive. We're going to skip New Mexico. Kelly's going to lose re-election. In Kansas, I do think Kelly is going to Laura Kelly, my bad, not Mark Kelly. I do think she is going to lose re-election to a pretty right-wing candidate, probably a Trumpian candidate. I don't really see Kelly having that much strength in this election. So Republicans already have the governorships with just those states. So Minnesota, we're gonna skip. That's gonna be a really close one. Wisconsin. Evers is pretty unpopular. Trump barely lost Wisconsin. That was only really due to Republicans breaking away. It was like 51,000 decided to vote Republican down ballot, but they did not decide to vote for Trump. So those people, they're probably going to be voting in the midterms. They're probably not super happy with the Biden advance, probably not super happy with Governor Evers. I do think that Wisconsin is going to be a pretty easy Republican pickup for the Republicans. So next one, Michigan. Now, Whitmer is not super popular. The lockdowns are going to hurt her a lot in the Metro Detroit suburbs. I do think that Whitmer is going to lose re-election by probably about 2 points, probably. She's not really super popular, and she has quite a few scandals. Republicans have some great candidates. I think Craig would definitely win by a lean margin. Soldano is another candidate. You might not have heard a lot about him if you're not from Michigan, but I've seen a few signs, which I know it's not always the best indicator, but I've seen yard signs for Soldano. He could definitely have some of that populist grassroots energy that could do well in Michigan and be able to flip it, but we're going to wait and see. I do think Republicans are currently the favorite for Michigan governor, so we're going to wait and see. Pritzker, I do think he's going to win, unfortunately, in Illinois. Pritzker is just so terrible, but it's Illinois. I think we'll be a little bit closer, just because, I mean, taxes are definitely going to be a big issue in Illinois. Taxes could, it swung New Jersey multiple points to the right, so I do think that is going to be something that could definitely make Illinois a bit closer. Georgia. Actually, let's skip Georgia. Florida, I think DeSantis is going to win. He's a very popular governor. Morning Consult even has Ron DeSantis at a 52% approval rating, and it's going to be a good year for Republicans. He might even win Miami-Dade County, honestly. It's going to be that bad for Democrats. He'll probably win Hillsborough, too. So it's going to be an interesting night, for sure. I do think he's going to win by a likely margin, probably by like 8 points or so. I don't know, I might be over-exaggerating, but likely margin, definitely that. And Hogan, not running in Maryland, probably going to be a time pickup. Border, have to wait and see. Connecticut, Rhode Island's likely. We'll just have to wait and see candidates there. McKee is kind of a moderate, so he'll probably end up winning, but we're going to have to wait and see if anything interesting happens, because a lot of interesting things could happen in these Northeast races. I mean, Massachusetts, one of the bluest states in the nation, has a Republican governor, so anything can happen. But Connecticut, very close elections normally for governor, and you run someone who has a lot of moderate appeal, when you can just focus on kitchen table issues, staying out of like partisanness. Could get a little closer in Connecticut, but Democrats likely hold on to Connecticut. Massachusetts, now controversial. Democrats are going to flip Massachusetts, so that is due to Trump's guy winning the primary. I do think that is going to hurt. We're probably going to lose Massachusetts, which, I mean, Baker's really not that good anyways. Hopefully it's like a Ned Lamont kind of Democrat in Massachusetts, because Ned Lamont is not that bad of a governor, but Massachusetts, Ned Lamont kind of governor, hopefully for Democrats. Hopefully this one's super far left, but the guy Trump endorsed is leading in the primary polls, so, and it's not an internal, so I do think that he is going to win. And so now, these are the 5 competitive states, in my opinion, starting with New Mexico. New Mexico, I do think that there is a clear path for Ronchetti. It's not going to be a super nationalized race. People are not going to be saying that New Mexico is competitive. Ronchetti is running as we needed him to. He is running for governor, and he has a clear blueprint from Youngkin's victory in Virginia. I do think that Ronchetti has a very good shot to win in Nevada. He has a lot of energy things to run on, especially Biden's platform regarding energy. Not really the best for New Mexico. So that is going to help Ronchetti a lot, focusing on energy, focusing on education. There's lockdowns are definitely going to help a lot in focusing on lockdowns. It'll be very interesting race in New Mexico. I do think Republicans are the slight favorite as of right now. Minnesota, I do think Democrats are going to hold on to Minnesota's governor race. It could be very interesting. Tim Walz, not really super unpopular, but there are issues to run on in Minnesota, and it could be a pretty nationalized race, because Minnesota was actually expected by a lot of the media to be competitive in 2020, but it ended up being a pretty convincing win for Biden in Minnesota. So there's a lot of things that's going to happen in Minnesota. I think Minnesota is tilt Democrat as of right now. A lot of things could change, but I mean, there's a lot of votes to get in the suburbs. I mean, we barely lost in Minnesota for the House vote, but that was due to Omar doing terrible in her district, just due to being so radical. But I do think that Republicans could be in an interesting spot, potentially winning the Minnesota governor race, but I'm not really sure much about issues in Minnesota, and Minnesota's suburbanites are pretty far left, so I don't really know what is going to happen in Minnesota. So I have these 3 races remaining. So I think Georgia, Perdue is running in Georgia. Pretty sure. I mean, he put out a tweet attacking the lieutenant governor, who is a rhino. He is a rhino, not running for re-election, and he sucks. He's a Republican in name only. That's what rhino means, obviously. And he attacked him, and there's been a lot of talk about Perdue running for governor, and he has a strong suburban appeal, and Republicans are definitely favored in this election. Not to mention that Republicans actually won the House ballot in Georgia by 2 points in 2020, and I do not think that there's enough time for it to shift to a D-positive environment in Georgia. So I think that he is going to win. I think Perdue could probably win by a lean margin, maybe even a likely. That may be exaggerating it, but I mean, waves are not really super big in Georgia. We did underperform, Perdue did underperform Romney in 2014, even though it was a pretty big red wave of 2010. We did win pretty big in Georgia, so I don't know. We'll see what wave it ends up replicating, but I think it's going to be a bigger red wave than 2014. They have it R+7 as right now, but that's pretty close to 2010, so we'll have to wait and see. But we have this race now. Pennsylvania is going to be interesting. Republicans have some great candidates in Pennsylvania. We have Lou Barletta. He is a good candidate. I like Lou Barletta. Mastriano could be a good one too, obviously. No, Mastriano, a bit of a controversial figure, more like Kerry Lake. He'd probably get the rurals out a little more than Lou, but Lou would definitely do very good in the rurals due to his connections to Trump, very close connection to Trump. Mastriano also has a very close connection to Trump. I don't really think there's any other candidates in the race, but I think Mastriano does have a slight lead in the primary polls. I don't even know if he's going to run, but if he does, he can make the race a little closer. Democrats do have a very strong candidate. Josh Shapiro got more votes, like 3,000 more votes than Biden in Pennsylvania. So I do think that Shapiro could be a candidate to make this, keep the race a little close. But national environment, I do think that Shapiro is going to lose in Pennsylvania by probably a point or so. We're going to wait and see. More polls to come out. Not really that many polls out for the individual races in the states, but that's for a good reason, because there's not really a clear indication of who is going to win in Pennsylvania. Some polls have been released that have Fetterman up, but they are definitely very sketchy, and his internal only has him up, like, I think it's tied. Actually, his internal has it tied, and there's a lot of time to. There's a lot of things that could be attacked on Fetterman for the Senate. Why am I talking about the Senate? I don't know, but yeah, it would definitely sink Shapiro. So final race, Maine. I do think Democrats are the very slight favorites in Maine right now. What is it? His name, Paul LePage, is a very interesting candidate. I do think he has a lot of populist support in Maine. He do very well in the 2nd district, and I do think that if you look at a lot of these elections, I've actually been analyzing this. If you look at a lot of the old Republican suburbs in a lot of these states, such as like in Virginia, in Georgia, in Texas, in Texas, in a lot of these old Republican suburbs, Texas, Virginia. If you look at a lot of those, Pennsylvania, you look at a lot of those suburbs, they are like beginning to become back. We even won Dauphin County in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court race, so I think it's going to be interesting because we have out of the suburbs, so we could have the popular support in the 2nd district, have a lot of the old Republican base that kept it close in the 1st district, in those in what was it, like 2000, 2004. Maine's 1st district was within 10, so I think they have a lot of that support to keep the race close and potentially win the Maine governorship. So that's my prediction. 32 for the Republicans, 18 for the Democrats. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.